And now, the show you've been waiting for. From Channels TV's global headquarters, it's The Other News. And here's your host, Okey.
Thank you. Welcome to another tear rubber episode of The Other News. If straight news had a very stubborn cousin, it would be The Other News. Yeah. We have a great show for you tonight. My guest is a seasoned politician. He's been the Deputy Speaker, Chief Whip of the House of Representatives, the former Imo State governorship candidate for the People's Democratic Party, and now the current governorship candidate for the same party. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome Right Honorable Emeka Ihedioha is in the building. Yeah. Also on the show, our correspondent, Dan the Humorous, will be introducing to us his latest hustle. That and much more. But first, as always, the other news headlines. The APC and the PDP have both released campaign documents called The Next Level and Let's Get Nigeria Working Again, as their plans for Nigerians as the 2019 election approach. I beg, what level are we even in? I mean, since politics is now again, please, which time save Nigeria they work before? Parrots of a feather release documents together. Former President Goodluck Jonathan's book launch was attended by an all-star cast of political heavyweights. Well, a highlight of the event was the handshake that took place between the chairman of the APC, Adam Shomole, and PDP, Uche Secondus. Nigerians saw a mutual respect between political opponents. But this is what they themselves were seeing. And this is what all the other political parties were thinking. Well, a fire outbreak has caused the destruction of some important EFCC files. So no more death on politicians again. Eh? Wow. There's fire on the mountain. Oh. Run for office. Niger drama. All right, moving on. Every season gets its own thing. Christmas has sweet carols and knockouts. Well, Salah has midnight jolly with finger-licking rams. Then there's this special season.
Today officially marks the opening of campaigns for the presidential and National Assembly elections.
Yeah, campaign season is here. And with it, some wonderful festivities. Festivities like new candidates who are sometimes old.
Atiku. Great party, recipients.
Then the deep campaign slogans.
Next level.
So no change again. Oh yeah, let me use the remaining change and buy something light.
The main opposition party, the PDP on the other hand, and its candidate Atiku Abubakar tagged his campaign program, Let's Get Nigeria Working Again.
Anyway, still on festivities. Of course, this is the season for campaign modeling. Auntie Obi, is that you? The campaign season is always a very poetic one. For instance, T for transport, I for infrastructure, E times 3 for education, electricity, and employment. Well, it's the song all the campaigns are singing. But this hasn't always been the case.
No work, no food, no house, no life.
Wow. Okay. Maybe it was the case during Abiola's time. That one is still a bit recent. Look, I know campaigns before then must have been different. To other matters, when Nigerian head of state Olusegun Obasanjo made history by being the very first Nigerian head of state to step down from power willingly, his predecessors were wondering, what on earth was he thinking? Well, let me tell you what he was thinking. First, Guinness Book of Records, here I come. Then second and most importantly, He who rules and goes away must live to rule another day. Maybe in the 90s. Well, OBJ's heroic actions gave us Shehu Shagari with his certificates and teaching qualifications. Nigerians were happy to have someone teach the military how to rule. His campaign in '79 was about unity and economic self-sufficiency. And because he did such a fantastic job with that, and there was never a sign of corruption at all. He kickstarted his second-term campaign with something that still sounds very much like unity and economic self-sufficiency part 2. In 1979, Mr. Shagari was basically unopposed. But it's 1983 now. We have two familiar faces forming a coalition to go against him. Two people who sabi book pass am. Maybe because two are better than one. Because this way they can be sure they will win. At least this time, unlike the 1963 campaign, the great Zeke will upgrade his podium. Well, obviously, lots has not changed. Okay, some things have changed, like my hair, my suit, and of course, I've aged quite well. But as I was saying, we have sung the same campaign song for many years. And like any song that is on repeat for too long, it becomes boring. The thing will begin vex person. This country needs a new hit song. You know, enough with the campaign on transport, infrastructure, education, unity. Look, Nigeria needs to move past this. We need a new story. You know, and come February 2019, all songwriters featuring Nigerians with PVCs can come together, do a collabo, and say, look, enough of the big documents. If you want to lead us, tell us one thing that is achievable. Maybe power, since all of us love power. After all, God said, let there be light. God bless Nigeria. All right. Yeah, it's still the other news. Our guest today was Chairman House Committee on Marine Transportation, not Marine Spirits. Yes, he later became Chief Whip and Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives, and for a very short time, Speaker of the House of Representatives. Ladies and gentlemen, please a round of applause for Right Honorable Emeka Ihedioha in the studio. You're welcome, sir. You're welcome. You're welcome.
Thank you very much.
Yes, we are excited to have you in the studio. You know, when you say Chairman House Committee on Marine Transportation, you know, sometimes lay people will wonder because we hear too much about marine spirits in Nigeria. I'm sure it does not involve one of those.
Certainly not.
Recently, the chairman of the People's Democratic Party, Uche Secondus, apologized on behalf of the party. So now that he has apologized, why should we give the PDP a second chance? Why should we look in the direction of Atiku Abubakar and the PDP come 2019?
Thank you very much. Thank you, Nigerians. Fundamentally, great. It was great in the first instance, and it shows the strength of a man, the strength of a party, the strength of character. For you to understand that you made a mistake at some point in time, and for you to own up, to say, look, gentlemen, you know what? We're sorry that because of our mistakes, we gave opportunity for a government that is obviously incompetent and for people who have no capacity to drive the nation forward to take over the reins of affairs. I think that was the context. And so I salute the courage, the integrity, the statesmanship of President Secondus and indeed the People's Democratic Party.
We'll take a quick break. When we come back, we'll look into some of these steps because I'm sure some people want to know in concrete terms, how do we move from here? Don't go anywhere. It's still the other news and we'll be right back. the other news. It's still the other news, and our conversation with Right Honorable Emeka Ihedioha continues. If you're just joining us, please pay attention. Nigerian lawmakers are synonymous with high income. In fact, some of the statistics that has been branded all over the place says that our lawmakers are the highest paid in the world. As a former lawmaker, how do we justify this bumper package that lawmakers are taking home every time?
I don't understand.
People have also said that people in the executive are also amongst the highest paid. So how do are we supposed to pay the much that we pay to our lawmakers, considering how regular they sit? Because sometimes you see the chamber on television and some of them are never there. How do we justify that pay? Nigerians want to know.
Now, let me tell you how our legislature operates. Certain persons, that's why we have committees. Yeah. Some committees, at certain point in time, do not sit in plenary. Yeah. Now, so members of those committees either perform oversight functions or they're indeed busy doing one thing or the other. That is also part of lawmaking. Yeah. In lawmaking, you have appropriation processes.
We are talking about pay.
I'm coming.
We are not talking about
I'm coming. No. You see, when people talk about the bloated nature of the package, yes. No, that is not true. That is not true. That is not true. That is not true. That's not fair. I'll give you an instance. The entire budget, all through the period I was in the National Assembly, of the legislative arm of government, the entire legislature, which includes the National Assembly Services Commission with a large pool of staff, which includes staff of the Senate, staff of the House of Reps, which includes the National Institute of Legislative Studies, the entire budget of the National Assembly, all had never exceeded 150 billion. In fact, it was brought down to 120 billion, 130 billion. That is everything. Capital projects. I'm coming, sir. Okay. Purchase of vehicles, construction, hospitals, emolument of staff, allowances, everything is encompassed. Now, that is about the budget of only one federal ministry. That is lower than the budget of the presidency. Only the president and vice president are elected in the executive arm of government at the national level. Every person is appointed, but they wield enormous powers. They try to appropriate which...
And by extension, enormous resources.
And they try to appropriate resources of a nation. But the appropriation of resources of a nation is vested in the legislature, who are elected to represent interests of, in the case of the House of Reps, 360 federal constituencies, and in the case of the Senate, 109 federal constituencies.
Okay, so fine.
And you don't appropriate for yourself. Yeah. You appropriate for the development of your areas in different sectors. Now,
okay, so fine. If we are saying that, if the executive is saying, or the people are saying that the National Assembly members...
No, it's blackmail that we do not need.
Okay, it's blackmail.
Yes.
No, so yes, in a country where the government is struggling and debating to pay minimum wage, can we not have maximum wage for people at that level?
I have no problem with that.
That's like put a cap.
Why don't you begin to canvass that?
I mean,
no.
I'm asking. Having been in the Green Chamber, do you think our legislators will want to approve a move like this?
Why would they not? I mean, are they the highest paid? They are not the highest paid in the country. I don't want you to bother. I don't want to bother to tell you to find out how much the allowances or how much they spend to drink in the presidency. But you know, when Atiku Abubakar become president of Nigeria, we have discussed at the level of the PDP that we shall bring down the cost of running governance in the country.
Okay, that's some good news. Now, we have always had incidents of people walking into whether the Green Chamber or the Red Chamber or any of the chambers and walk away with the mace. Now, with the security that we have in place at the National Assembly and the security that is budgeted for, because I understand even governors, everybody has security vote. We don't know if they give security vote to the National Assembly. Why is it so easy for people to always walk in and carry our mace?
The only time I remember that mace was stolen in the House, in the National Assembly, was when the government of today tried to foist an impossible and illegitimate leadership on the Senate. And so some persons who are still parading themselves as lawmakers, representing constituencies, were sponsored by the APC administration to go and cause mayhem in their thinking that they could forcefully take away the president of the Senate and his deputy, who were elected legitimately. And that failed. When the PDP was in government, there was no day there was a missing miss. I want to tell you, you know that never happened. So it beats.
But there was a time, I think it was Okadibo that ran away with his own miss.
It beats my imagination.
Yeah.
It beats my imagination that a government with security all over it, because if I understand the architecture of the National Assembly, I will not understand how somebody can beat in, enter the chambers, or a group of people enter the chambers, make away with the miss, and the police said they couldn't find the miss. It is covered. So how do you do all that? I mean, that should have called for the immediate sack of the Inspector General of Police. And indeed, the Sergeant at Arms and all their staff, obviously it was a security breach. And we know it's politics. It couldn't have happened under PDP, and it won't happen under PDP. So this is one of the several failures of the APC administration.
Thank you very much, sir, for making time to be on the show. We appreciate it. Ladies and gentlemen, one more time, please, a round of applause. Once upon a time, being caught red-handed was the worst way to be caught. Nowadays, thanks to technology, there's an even worse way. More on this in a new segment we'd like to call Caught on Camera. Politics in Nigeria is a gift that keeps on giving. It gives us entertainment, drama, and plenty headache. Here are our top 5 most infamous political moments. Goofs caught on camera. One man claimed when he left office, nobody will find him.
Those waiting for me will wait in vain.
But then, he changed mouth and changed shirt. Only one shirt is more legendary. Number 4 is an example of how Nigerian lawmakers put the honor in honorable. Kudos to our lawmakers for always climbing. Raising the bar. Our lawmakers are climbing feet. But when the maize was abducted, none of them were found to be fit enough to even fight. Our number 3 slot goes to the Coupe boys. And I'm not talking about the male Instagram models who are responsible for taking over social media.
The federal military government in Nigeria has taken over the administration of the candidates.
The government has not been able to fulfill the legitimate expectations of our people.
The Nigerian armed forces could not stand idly by while this country was drifting towards a dangerous state of political and economic collapse.
It is true that the presidential election was generally seen to be free, fair, and peaceful. However, there was in fact a huge array of electoral practices virtually in all the states of the Federation.
The interim national government is hereby dissolved. The national and state assemblies are also dissolved.
Yes, well done, sir. This one is a tale of a leader washing his dirty laundry out in the open. I can't imagine there being more the other room activities after this one.
She belongs to my kitchen and my living room and the other room.
Before we do our number 1 reveal, let's shout out to our honorable mentions. The man who speaks the truth and dies. And of course, the man that speaks too much.
It will be sardonic, it will be lugubrious, and it will be a state of dismal if Parliament does not rise this morning to fix culpability where culpability is.
And now, our number 1 reveal. Warning, the following footage is likely to cause extreme shame or uncontrollable laughter.
Chai! There is God, oh! There is God, oh! Oh, there is God, oh! There is God, oh! There is God!
Over 1 million views on YouTube. And that's a wrap. But wait, there's more, much more of the other news right after the break. Stay with us. Welcome back. As always, it's the other news. Politicians, like music stars, often point out that the things you don't like about them are the work of haters. Yeah. Well, for more on this, we turn to our senior investigative correspondent, Dan the Humorous.
It's election season, people, and one thing politicians are good at is always throwing jabs at each other. And you know, if a politician is caught napping, doing something or saying something unsavory, in their defense, they say it was doctored. So let's go and see the doctors to see how the doctor tapes. Let's go. Come.
Good morning, doctor.
Good morning.
Well done.
Dr. Julius Emeka.
Okay, done. Yes, ma'am. Well done.
Good morning, Dan. How are you today?
I'm fine. Okay. Yes.
Why are you here today?
Actually, it's not me. I've been explaining to them out there. It's actually this tape. Yes, I want you to doctor it for me, for my opposition. Election is near.
What we do here, we take care of your health needs.
Okay.
We don't take care of tapes. We take care of your health needs, and if there's any problem, we'll be able to solve it for you.
You watch TV or newspaper, they will say the tape was doctored, the tape was doctored.
No. If you want to doctor a tape, you go to the filmmakers. Those are the people who are used to doctoring, who are used to taking care of tapes.
Thank you very much.
It was nice meeting you. Okay?
Yeah, all right. Thank you
so much.
Mr. Nee, so good to see you.
Nice to meet you too, Dan.
Yes. You have your hands in several blockbusters we've had in Nigeria. So am I right to say that you're in the business of making people sound good or making people look good?
Yeah.
Fantastic. So I have this video here that I want you to help me doctor. It's a video of my opponents.
It's possible for the right amount. It's very possible. The way our mouths move when we talk, we actually don't have as many diverse range of mouth movements in comparison with the amount of words we can say. So for any smart person, who knows how to lip sync properly, it's something that happens, and it's possible.
Between me and you, was transmission doctored?
I think transmission was doctored. It's very easy to get that done. So that would be a lip sync issue, and it's been done over and over before. I think he made the mistake once, and then they put it on an interesting creative loop, to make it that way. But if he was making all those mistakes, there is no way people around would not have reacted.
Okay, what of the people that gave people something and they put it in their wrapper?
It can be reenacted creatively. But in the case of this particular video, the camera was quite shaky and the face of the person was showing. It would require a lot of genius, Hollywood level genius to do that. I don't think that particular video we are talking about was doctored.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for coming.
Yes, sir.
So you've heard from the experts. These things are really doctored. But what matters is Nigerians, we need to start paying attention to the very fine little details so that we don't get caught up in the frenzy unnecessarily. But the real doctor of all of this is the doctor of our mind and perception. Because if the video favors your position, it's fine. If it doesn't favor your position, it's doctored. So what do we really need to doctor? Our minds and our thinkings. For the other news, I am Dan Dollar. Sorry, Dan the Humorous. Back to you, okay.
Yeah, that's all for today, my beautiful people. Hope you enjoyed today's show as much as I enjoyed sharing it with you. If you would like to be a part of our amazing studio audience, just call the numbers on your screen. Also, remember to follow us on all our other news social media platforms at the Other News CTV. Our people say the perfect time to slap a king is when you see a fly perched on his cheek. Until next time, my name is Okey. One love.